Okay, I started doing like some family vessels. You saw the, you might have seen the first video where I was prepping the actual olive branch. That was about a month ago. I've had some other projects, so I'm going to start now on the first blank. It's a little not round, so I got to turn this round first. So what I'm going to do first of all is get the tenon exactly where I want it and actually shape it a little bit so that I can get the most center orientation as possible. So, yeah, you can see it wobbles quite a bit. There's a lot of stuff on this side that needs to come off. So let's see. The tenon's actually pretty good. Or not, maybe not. So first let me do the tenon. Man, it's got a lot of wobble on it. Okay. Okay, we'll try that. All right, so we're going to quickly put it on the chuck and start from there. My mold was not, you know, it's never perfectly a cylinder, but that's kind of a problem. So let me see if I can get that off before I do anything. Man, that is. Okay, it's finally round. Now I just need to make a decision. This is a really skinny, tall blank. So I need to understand like where I'm gonna put the lid. Because again, I'm gonna make an indentation here, a square indentation just where the lid's gonna be, and then kind of take the top part off, and I'll fit it together once I kind of know what how big my opening is going to be on the main vessel, and then I'll turn them together. But first I got to kind of figure out like exactly where I want this lid to start and the vessel to end. So probably somewhere in here. If I get too deep, this gets too hard to hollow. So probably right in this area, I'm kind of guessing. It's a nice blank. I like the color. We'll see how sharp this tool is. All right. Okay, so I got my notch. I'm going to stop there. I don't exactly know how skinny I want this yet. One thing I do know is most of this material is all coming off. So just for ease of turning, I'm going to take most of this down quite a bit on that side. Swatch out my tool wraps. I'm really just going to focus on this side and not really do any shaping. I'm just going to be removing material, and that's pretty much it. Okay, it's going to be the beginning of my top. That's going to be kind of cool. Temporarily take this off. And put this on real quick. A little too small. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a tenon, thin this down, cut a tenon run on this end, because I want to flip it, and this end's going to go inside my vessel, but I want to make it a little smaller, and I want to hollow it out, so I need to grab the lid by this end. Eventually it'll get cut off. But right now that's kind of what I need. Okay, so that's done. I'm gonna put it on the smaller jaws, flip this around, and basically hollow out the inside of this. Okay, so you can see I got a little indentation in here, and I've squared this off so it's nice and square. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of blue mixed in with the olive. I don't know how much I'll end up turning off. It might all go away. I don't really know, but we'll see. Okay, we'll put the main vessel back on. Okay, so I just got to cut a channel to make this fit. And then I'll put them together. And I will turn them that way as one piece. Before I put them together, I'm just going to flatten this just a little bit, just to make sure that's perfectly flat. Only take me a second, and it's not a big deal. And it's not flat, by the way. Well, that's new. My tenon broke. That's okay. Wow. Honestly, I've never had that happen before. I know it can. Huh. Okay. Look at that. Okay, so all I did, I went to the bandsaw and cut off the rough part. So it doesn't break again. If it breaks again, then I have an issue. Now I have an issue. It's too big for the jaws. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. I'm gonna do a little cleanup with a chisel real quick. All right, let's try this. That might be a little better. All right, let's see if I can smooth this out up here. Man, got a lot of wobble. Hold on. Try something else. Maybe it'll fit the smaller jaws now. No such luck. Okay, so it's going to be smaller, which is not great. Talk about unplanned. Okay, so I guess we're not done yet. Come on. Let's go. Oh, seriously? Let me try the logic dress. Hold on. Okay. Sorry for the detour. Now, what I was attempting to do initially was flatten this out, which started the entire problem. Okay, and we're back. So it is nice to have extra room on the tenon in case it breaks. You don't really ever expect that to happen, but it does. I'm not sure I've had one break like that, but. All right, so we're back together. We've got the lid on. We can now start turning as one piece. I probably completely lost my train of thought. And I'm sure this sucker is not round anymore. So I probably have to thin it down just a little bit. Of course not. Okay. Yeah, see, not even close to being round. So, yesterday was quite the day. We had the tenon break. I think it took me an hour to fix that. I had to basically cut a new tenon on what was left of the original tenon, which was a little tricky since I had no place else to hold the vessel. But got it done, and then my phone died, so you didn't see the rest of it. We've got a lid cut. We also have a fairly seamless lid since they were turned together. You can see The resin really matches well between the lid and the vessel. So all we're gonna do today is hollow. So I'm gonna take the lid off, set that aside. I'll deal with that another day. But you can see kind of how this looks. Nice. Looks good. So now we'll start hollowing today and get that done. So we'll set up my Trent Bosch hollowing system and start that process. All right, I'm going to use a 2-inch Forstner bit and go down about where I want the bottom, just to hollow it as much as I can before I start using the hollowing tools. So we'll start drilling right now. Okay, I think we're ready to now set up the visualizer, which is the hollowing system. All right, got my hollowing system set up. So this is a system by Trent Bosch. Allows me to kind of see inside the vessel when I'm turning it to check thickness of the wall. So it's kind of a nice check to make sure you get as thin as you want without actually going through the wall. So this is what I typically use for hollowing. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm using my scraper and to wipe off the other tool on the screen. You can see I have my template down. I trace the outside of the scraper, and then I do a 1/4 inch on the outside of that. So when I pull this out, I get a nice buffer around the blade, so I can see where I'm going. One more W40. Okay. Okay, we got the inside really smooth, so we are ready for cutoff. So let me break this down and we'll get to that. So I am going to, possibly foolishly, try to thin this base down a little bit. I want it a little thinner at the bottom. So I'm going to try it and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, now I've got a much thinner base I can cut, so that looks, I think that looks better. All right. Okay, let's check this out. So, top looks good. All right, so we'll do a coat of Waterlux tonight, and we'll see what the finished product looks like tomorrow. Okay, so this was a really hard vessel. Tendon breaking. You guys didn't see a lot of the hollowing yesterday, but it was like concrete. I don't know why this particular piece of olive wood was really difficult to hollow. It took me almost 2 hours, and I had to sharpen the bit like 8 times. Anyway, this is it after Waterlux. I think it turned out nice. You can kind of see the olive underneath the epoxy, so I think it worked out really well. Anyway, one more down. I got 3 more to go.